Hello, I'm Louisa Tandy. This video is going to be about how to trim your dog's nails at home. Now, it's not something that I normally recommend pet owners to do because it's really quite tricky. It's something that us professional groomers find quite a hard thing to do in the salon anyway. A lot of dogs don't like their nails being done, so to do it at home can be really quite hard work. But nevertheless, it could be something that is necessary for you to do. So this video is a few tips on how to manage that at home. Now, one of the things that I do tend to do is make sure I've got the right equipment and make sure I've got it all to hand. So my nail clippers, my brush, which you'll see if you've got long-haired dogs. If you've got smooth-coated dog, you don't need it, but for a longer-haired dog, you'll need a brush. And something to stop the bleeding should it happen. So make sure you've got that to hand. Now, I do have a in the salon for all my regular customers or my customers, I have got a fact sheet here that's got all the information on there with some diagrams on how to trim your dog's nails. By all means, when you come in, it's free to customers. You can come in and pick one of those up. You know, just help yourself. They're on the worktop there. The equipment I could probably get for you if necessary. Just kind of give me a ring and you can pick it up next time you're coming in for your groom. Otherwise, then you can probably sort of pick them up from most pet shops, to be honest. Now, there's two different types of nail clippers that you can use. There's the guillotine type and there's the plier type. Now, I use, and along with probably most professional groomers, we tend to use the plier type. Mainly because the pliers tend to stay sharper much quicker, whereas the guillotine type nail clipper, which is this one here. You'll probably find that that's the most common one that you tend to find in pet shops. Although they're quite handy to use, they're probably more comfortable to use for the pet owner. Nevertheless, the blade blunts quite quickly and you have to change the blades quite regularly on those. But whichever one you want to use, that's absolutely fine. So getting a dog on a table, like I've said in my other videos, it's important to make sure your dog's on a table. It makes it much easier for you to restrain your dog. If you're able to tie them up somewhere, stop them from jumping off, that's great, to have somebody hold the dog. There's a couple of things that you can do using treats to take your dog's mind off it. If you're going to use treats, then make sure it's something really yummy, like peanut butter or ham or a bit of chicken or a bit of fish, something like that. Not your more bulk standard dog treats. It needs to be something that really gets your dog's attention. Also, if you've got somebody holding your dog for you, if you and the dog's really struggling, if you can find the dog's ticklish spot, if he's got like an itchy tummy, get the person that's holding your dog to scratch that itchy bit, and that will really take the dog's mind off what you're doing. Otherwise, if you're just working on your own, then on a table with a non-slip covering is really handy. Get your dog up nice and high as well. If you've got a large breed dog and it's taken two of you to pin the dog down at home to do the nails, I would say don't do it. There's much too risk of you injuring yourselves, injuring the dog as well. The chance of catching it quick is really high, and the more uncomfortable, the more stressful the dog the more stressful your dog gets whilst having its nails done, it's going to make it 10 times worse next time. And then it'll get to the point where even we can't do that in the salon. So if your dog's really playing you up, then don't do it. You'll find that any local groomer, pretty much all the groomers that I know, offer this as a separate service. So you can always ring them up and go and have the nails done. You normally wait while it's done. It takes literally 10 minutes. It's very quick and easy. And like I said, we're used to doing it on a daily basis. Your vets will probably offer the same kind of service. However, I have to say that us groomers, we do it on every dog that comes into the salon. So we're actually quite a lot more used to doing nails than your vet is actually. So although your vets are great, I would say that for this kind of thing, groomers are probably better. Have something to stop the nail bleeding should you catch them. You really don't want to be catching the nails. It is not the end of the world, however, if you do catch them. If you catch them quite badly, then you do need to be very careful. You can get an infection in the nail and they bleed terribly. And it is quite painful for the dog. It's not, it's not a comfortable thing for them to have. So that's why we recommend that you don't really kind of do it at home if the dog's very fidgety. But we use a stick tip powder well, I use a styptic powder in the salon. There are different things that are out there for professional groomers, but I use a styptic powder, and this is a coagulant powder, so I just kind of put a pinch of it on the end of the nail and it stops the bleeding. If you've caught the nail really quite badly, then it'll help to stem the flow, but it won't stop it completely. That'll have to kind of heal on its own a little bit. If you don't have styptic powder, which you probably don't have at home, there's a couple of other things you can try. If you get a bar of very mild soap and stick the nail onto the bar of soap, then actually that can stop the bleeding as well, or you can slow the bleeding down. And the other thing is corn flour. Stick a lot of corn flour onto the nail and keep applying it, until the bleeding stops. Once the bleeding stops, then make sure you kind of keep the nail clean. Stick a sock on it or something if necessary. If you've caught it quite badly, then again, do these things. Keep it nice and clean. But the important thing is that you don't get an infection in that nail bed, because infections in nails are notoriously hard to sort out. So just be warned. So we're going to look at some handling techniques for doing your dog at home. So we've got mine here up on the table, and he's not particularly keen on having his nails done. He's okay, but he's not massively keen on having it done. I'm trying to get him up to as high as I can, so that I'm not crouching over my dog too much. I tend to start off with the back nails, mainly because I find that dogs don't mind their back nails being done quite so much. They're happier with having their back nails done than they are the front nails. So if you do your dog's front nails, it freaks out, then you're unlikely to get to do the back nails, whereas you do your back nails first, and then you've only then got to deal with your front nails. Now, back nails don't tend to grow as fast, or they tend to wear down a lot quicker than front nails do. You might well find that actually the back nails don't need trimming, in which case that's fine, just concentrate on your front nails. Also, on each foot, once you've kind of taken a certain amount off of one nail on the foot, that's normally an indication that you can take the same amount of nail off the other toes. But each foot can vary a little bit, and the older dogs that tend to scrape their back feet across the floor, you might find that they've actually worn them down quite a bit. So just have a look at your nails first. Now what I do is I tend to take my brush, because he's a hairy dog. I'm going to bring this down a little bit. There we go. I'm going to pick the dog's leg up, and I'm going to brush this hair out of the way so I can see my nail. Don't need to do this on a short haired dog, just on a long haired dog. And also, if the dog's nails are really, really muddy, especially if they are white nails or kind of see-through nails, then perhaps you might want to just give them a bit of a wipe off with some baby wipes, just to make sure that you can see the quick as you're coming through. Now, the quick is the blood supply to the nail, and there's actually a nerve in there as well. So when we talk about the quick, that's what we're talking about. The quick, the longer, if the dog's nails are very long and they've been very long for a long time, then that quick tends to grow to the end of the nail. So you'll need to just, I would recommend that you just take off the tiniest bit each time that you do the nail. So actually I'm going to bring you around here. There you go. Now, when I'm holding the dog, try and hold the dog's leg in as natural position as you can. Don't hold the leg up here or out here. This here is not a natural position for the dog. And the more uncomfortable you make the dog's leg, then the more likely they are to pull away. So make sure that you are holding the dog's leg in a comfortable position, and that's normally just really perhaps sort of 5 or 10 centimetres off the ground. And I tend to hold the bottom of the foot, and I hold the nail in between my fingers, which means that I'm steadying the nail, keeping it nice and there we go, nice and steady for when I'm cutting it, so the nail's not moving around. And also it means that I can use my thumb to give me as a bit of a guide to how much nail I can take off. So on this dog, I'm just going to take off just the tips, because his nails are actually, I've already cut his nails are actually quite short. So I'm just going to tip the nail, like so. Again, holding the nail in between my fingers, steadies the nail, stops the vibration of the clipping going up into the foot and makes it a bit more comfortable for them, because a lot of dogs don't like that snapping sensation that they can feel when you're cutting a nail. So again, just take the tip off. On nails that are quite thick and quite long and quite rounded, you'll find that actually the quick generally tends to be quite close to the end of the nail. If the nail grows into a real point, you often find you can actually take more off the nail on those kind of nails. And I'm trying not to kind of come across the nail as well. I'm trying to stay clip on a downwards or upwards motion, because if you come across the nail, you're much more likely to squeeze and compress the nail and make it uncomfortable for the dog. And also, if you're going to come up this way, you've got more chance of the nail splitting than you do if you're going to clip either down or up. There you go. There's the last nail there. Now, the other thing to remember as well, that although most dogs tend to have 4 toes on each foot, some dogs do actually have a dew claw, and this is normally an extra claw that grows on the insides. Some dogs have it on the back foot, but not all dogs. Most dogs, but not all dogs, have an extra dew claw on the front foot. He has dew claws on the front foot, which I will show you in a second. There we go, sweetie. So that's the back foot done. So the front foot, there's 2 ways of doing the front feet. Now you can either bring the foot out towards you and clip the nails. Most dogs don't like this, it done this way. They actually prefer have the foot held behind them very slightly. But it is entirely up to you, and it's also the way that you can hold the dog. If you are comfortable in being able to hold your dog, then you can hold the dog out the front. And I'm going to be sitting down to make it a little bit more comfortable. And I'm going to come across the top of the dog. As you can see, come across the top of him, and I'll pick up his leg, and I'm going to bend his elbow. So I'm not holding his leg out like this. I'm bending the elbow, which makes it more comfortable. Then I'm going to just brush that hair up out of the way, including the dew claw. Expose the dew claw there. Come down. Hold the nail. I'm coming up the nail on the front foot because I can't really come down, so I'm just going to come up the nail. Good boy. Now, if he, I should do the dew claw this way as well. So I'm just I'm actually using my thumb to pull the dew claw out, and then just hold the dew claw. You can often get quite a lot off the dew claws. The dew claws can grow quite long, but the quicks tend to be generally quite short on the dew claw. Now it's the dew claw, obviously they don't wear down like the other nails, so you need to keep an extra watch on those, even if the other nails don't need doing on a regular basis. Just, perhaps when you're making a fuss with your dog, just kind of check their dew claws. Generally speaking though, if the rest of the dog's nails don't need doing, the dew claws don't either. If they don't like their foot being held out the front like that, you can actually hold the leg out towards the back. I need to put them down a bit for this. Okay, come a little bit tighter here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the top and come underneath, and I'm going to take hold of his foot. Now, if you're on your own and they're struggling a bit, then again, try the peanut butter, perhaps smear some on the table, or cream cheese or pate or something. Or what you can do is, if they start to struggle, just stop a minute, have your nail clippers here, just stop a minute and just perhaps give them a bit of a tickle under the tummy, try and get their back leg going, and then just very quickly clip the nails. So I am doing it from the back, but what I'm not doing is I'm not pulling that foot up. I'm keeping that foot, in quite a natural position. As the dog walks, then they do flick their foot back, so this is quite a natural position for them, but you need to make sure that you're not twisting the foot up, because that becomes uncomfortable. So again, I'm just holding the nail in between my finger and my thumb just to steady the nail, and I'm just coming up the nail like so. Good boy. We've had actually on his, I'm only taking a little bit off, but hopefully you can see that we've actually got a black dot in the middle. He's a good boy, I know. And that's where our quick is starting to come through here, is this black dot, you see. Again, hold the nail, and coming up the nail, just clip. Good boy. Good boy. See, we've just got the quick coming through very slightly there. So that's a couple of tips on doing your dog's nails at home. By all means, give us a ring if you want to book your dogs in for an in-between nail trim. It's something that I can normally slot in at any time during the day, so it's a nice, quick and easy one, and you just do it while you wait. One last thing actually is that we can also use a nail grinder to grind the nails down. Now this is really, really handy for those dogs that don't like the nails being done, or if you find the nails are very, very sharp after a groom, and the dog's jumping up and sitting on your lap and it's scratching you, then we can do the nail grinder. That's a very small charge on top. Just need to ask for that. We can do that at any point. Also, you could buy one of these and have these at home to do your dogs if your dogs don't like their nails being done. They're about £50–60 roughly. This one's made by Oster, but there's another really good one out there called by a company that's called Andis, and they do one that's a little bit quieter than this, but just as powerful. And that is something that, again, you just want to hold the dog's nail. Right, you sit down for me. It's a good boy. There we go. Good boy. I'll show you again. Again, just going to hold the nail, turn it on, and I'm just going to go around the edge of the nail, just very quickly, and then just go across the front. Just around the edge of the nail, and then across the front. And you can actually get the nails really quite short with a nail grinder. So that's another little tip. So hopefully you found that useful, and we will see you again on our next video.